All right. In the AP, then there was 6 FRQ for the next 3 to 4 days. We're gonna go over 3. So and the 3 FRQs with 27 points, and almost 100% of the time those 3 questions will show up. So that just assume that you got 7 out of 9 on all 3 questions. Is 21 points. That's half the point to get a 3. That's including that you didn't do any the other 3 FRQ. So if you just get 21 points, which is 7 out of 9 on the next 3 or 4 days, and doesn't require a lot of math, it just requires a little bit understanding of math. The actual math is a lot less. So FRQ, I think, is a very dumbed down version of what calculus is supposed to be. Calculus is supposed to be way higher level than AP exam, supposedly. But if you guys only worry about passing the AP exam, which is if you do pass with 4 or 5, I'm willing to change your grade. But really depends on which individual. Let's say if Nelly got a 4, I will fail her. Because she's really smart, so she's not allowed to get a 4. Okay. Like some people who are really bad at math, like, huh? What if I had a really bad? I don't care. What if my dog died? You should not have no excuse not getting a 5. So let's just say if you're really bad at math and if you got a 3, I will still give you an A, but that's only if you categorize you're really bad at math. Which is in this class, I don't believe there is one. I think everybody should score a 4 above. Okay? And like Eli or like Eli or let me see who else. Brendan. Those are for sure has to be 5. Okay, you cannot Armin for sure has to be 5. Jenny is also one of them. Jenny's like, don't call my name, don't call my name. Yeah, you actually have to be 5 because you're Chinese. You're inherent to have to get a 5, not any other score. If I didn't mention your name, doesn't mean you don't have to get a 5. You have to get a 5. Just prepare to get a 5. McKenna, it's another one. I have to get a 5. Sorry. If you got above 700 SAT math, yeah, you should get a 5. All right. So yesterday when we were here, if you guys were here, we reviewed a lot of questions. All those questions on the board over there. It's just like before the break, and yesterday was a good day to bring some kids back and let them know like what is U substitution, what is Riemann sum, and what is all those questions. If you were here, I was able to changing from a F to a C for most of the grades. Unless you're not here, which is I cannot do anything. I'll try to help you, but you gotta read the group chat. But yesterday we also talked about this question. So let's start with this questions here, which is question 4 over there on the board. They say f of x is equal to integration of e sine of x square root of 1 plus t squared dt. And the question says, can you find f prime of x? Those of you guys over here, you're supposed to know that. Neil, you should have been here yesterday as well. Where were you? Okay, at least you show up today. So hopefully most of you guys know how to do this. Katie and Ethan, this is going to be on your test that you have to take this afternoon. You make it up a test. How many of you guys know how to do this? Raise your hand if you do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. 6. Jenny, you know how to do this?
I'm trying to see if I can remember it, but I think so.
Gabby?
I don't remember.
Okay. And this is a stepping stone for help you to do today's problem. It's way easier. So let's just talk about this particular question. For us to integrate this, my BC student haven't learned how to take integration of this. It's called integration by trig substitutions. Not just substitution, but it's a trig substitution. So the integration of this, it require a higher technique that they're gonna learn on Thursday, like most AB students don't know. And it's not even on the BC exam. That's how difficult is it. So, and the reason why you cannot integrate this is because there's no 2t outside, or there's no t outside. Because you do u equal to 1 plus t squared. When you take a du, must have a 2t dt. So there's no t outside, so there's nothing to cancel. So it's impossible to use u substitution. You have to use trig substitution, which is that becomes a BC topic. But even though it's BC topic, it's not on the BC exam. Because most people get confused on the actual test. I think it should be, but it's not. So technically, I don't know how to integrate this. So what the best way to do this is to assume g of t is equal to square root 1 plus t squared. And that should be your first initial steps, because that way I don't need to know how to take integral. I just need to know the notations change. Because if I integrate and follow with the derivative, usually just gonna be function itself. 99% of the time, unless the chain rule involved. In this case, the chain rule involved. Also, another thing you have to pay attention to is this boundary here is a expression rather than constant. So if it's an expression rather than constant, you know they always follow in the question with the derivative rather than just integration. So now if I do this, I'm gonna copy and paste. So let me copy and let me paste on the bottom. And I say, hey, in order to find f prime x, I need to take a derivative for the left side, and I must take a derivative to the right side. It's just because I have to take a derivative in order to get f prime x. Are you guys following me so far? Okay. So if I take a derivative of this, that's just going to be a notation difference, which is f prime of x, and that's d to the dx, integration of sine of x, and e, and this is going to be g of t dt rather than the function. And there's a reason why I do that, because I'm taking derivative, pretty much it's just a function itself. I don't need to know how to integrate that, because my BC student, my best BC student, don't know how to integrate that. Even my math competition kid might forget how to integrate that. So if I integrate this, the notation is going to be different. So it's going to be d to the dx of g of t and between e and sine of x. Now, due to fundamental theorem of calculus, that is going to be d to the dx of g of e minus big G of sine of x. Just like when you do indefinite integral, you plug in the upper down bound, subtract the lower bound. Let me know if you have any question. Jesus, you got this?
Yeah.
You understand it yesterday?
Yeah.
Good. Nizar? Okay. Ethan? Yes? Okay. Kaden? Kaden?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. So now I'm going to take a derivative of this. So that means there's some rule, sum and difference rule. It's kind of like distributing, but it's not differentiating. You just take a derivative of this. But the problem is two layer. There's one layer and there's two layer. So if I take a derivative, it's going to equal to G of E times derivative of the E, which is 0. Because of the chain rule, we have to know that chain rule in fact. Minus G of sine of X times derivative of sine of X, because there was two layer right? So that's gonna be times cosine of x. Now obviously this term goes away because times 0 is just 0. It's gonna be negative g of sine of x times cosine of x. So the whole time did I take integration of square root 1 plus t squared? Not technically. We just integrate the notation and we take a derivative of the notation. That's it. And then now we're just gonna have to go back to assume function. So it'll be minus square root of 1 plus sine x squared times cosine of x. And this is the final expression. And that's the answer. Because e is a constant, derivative of e is going to go away. Now, why is this question is important? Because from this part to this part is FTC. It's called Fundamental Theorem of Calculus Part 1. So Part 1 here. From here to here is going to be FTC Part 2. Part 2 basically take a derivative of the integral, which is, I don't need to know how to integrate that function, because if we just integrate derivative, it's just have to worry about chain rule. Any question of this part? Liam, do you understand? Yes. Why you sound like you're sleepy? It's like a nap time. Siesta time, what do they call it, after lunch. Like in Spain or in Europe, they have a siesta time. After afternoon, they can take a nap. Huh? In China? Have you been to school in China?
Yeah, for kindergarten.
Really? Do you like it?
The lunch was so good.
That's true.
And then like compared to lunch over here.
All right, so 100% student need to understand this, because this will be a harder question, but a lot of you guys can manage to get it correct. It could be a multiple choice question. We show you example yesterday. It could be a multiple choice question. Hopefully most of you guys got that right, but if not, it's okay. From now on, you should get it right. And you will see it on another test too. So you'll see this question again. So I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna put it away. If you need to take a picture of it, you take a picture, you should write it down. But is this okay? Okay. Now let's read this question now. Now I know some of you guys group leaders. Usually group leader can probably solve this problem A, B, C, D. And you should be able to go through them all. Or you should be able to at least understand the questions. But this is the first time you see the simulation of FRQ. This is one of the simulation. And this is what the question is going to look like. You're going to have to figure out the answers. So let's assume that I didn't teach you. How will you figure out this question? I think some of you guys need to put in effort to try. It's called constructive struggling. So at first, if I teach you how to do it, I already teach you like what is the way to do it. But some people are good enough to figure out how to do it. I'd rather you figure out how to do it. Okay. So you should challenge yourself, see if you can figure out what this problem is asking, and see if you can figure out the answers. This is what a wonder question is 100% on AP exam. It's known as the FTC problem, Fundamental Theorem of Calculus. Now, if this is Fundamental Theorem of Calculus, guess what? You're gonna see it. Now, you also get this your group chat, because the 5-page homework. I'm gonna post another picture of those questions, and let you review those questions. Some of you guys are here yesterday, you don't have to do them. But yeah, this is a FRQ practice. This is one of the FRQ that consistently will show up on AP exam. If you get this one completely, 9 points. That's easily done. And you don't need to spend a lot of effort to do this question. It's on your group chat. You don't need to take a picture of it. I can airdrop to you if you want. So let me airdrop to you. So if you want me to airdrop to you, I'll airdrop to you right now. If you turn on your airdrop, I can airdrop to you right now. If you soap, who's soap? I'm judging. Someone different from the cube, Mr. Ye. Duh. Bennett. White people on the top. White male on the top.
All names if it's A or B. Or L.
Liam. Oh, Liam is white too. All right, so if you don't need it, it's on the WhatsApp. So let's look at this question. See if you can struggle through yourself and figure out the answer of some of the questions. Now with this question, right? You start by looking at, okay, let's read it together. I'm gonna read it with you. Let f be the continuous function whose graph is shown. So this function on the graph is called f of x. But there's another function called h of x. H of x is integration between 0 to x. Remember, it's not a constant. It's a expression, x. Of ft dt from 0 to 12, that's called domain restriction. If the function did not keep on continuous graphing, it stopped at 12. Now, what I'm going to do is you got to figure out what is h of 3, h prime of 3, h double prime of 3. You want to find out what set of value of x is h decreasing. You want to find out at what value x does h attain its maximum. So they are paying attention to h. They're not paying attention to f. Because a lot of people answer the question in terms of f, but it's actually h they are interested in. H is the integration between 0 to x of ft dt. And also h attained its minimum, and what is the minimum value? So you guys understand how the question go? See if you can figure out. Yes, for the first one. For the second one is no. For the last one is no. Yeah, you got one right. All the things. I will talk about it. All right, so now for me, like I will do some type of preparations, and the reason being is I'm doing preparation is because the question's asking h prime is asking h prime of x and h double prime of x. So I'm gonna go ahead and find that out because that's kind of crucial. Now, how do I find h prime of x? Well, we know the statement says h of x is equal to 0 to x of ft dt. We know that's equal to capital F of x minus capital F of 0. Does that make sense? Let me unshare this and then let me share this again. Oh, because I'm not on a thing. Yeah. Okay, do you guys understand this part? Do you guys understand this part? I just take an integration and plug in a capital F. Wait, the last question we did is on it, right? The last question that when we did fundamental theorem calculus on the other one with the e in sine of x is on the board, right? I mean, I'm talking about this question. Do you saw this question earlier? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. I'm not crazy. All right. So now I'm going to take a derivative because I want to find out what f prime of x is. Now, h prime of x, that's going to be f of x times derivative of x, which is 1, minus f of 0 times 0. So h prime of x is equal to f of x. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Now, on AP exam, sometimes you write out this, you might get a point, so which is nice if you write out this and you get a point.
No, you only have to write out the thing.
Now, what happened is I can take a derivative of this one, right? If I take a derivative of h prime of x, and if I take a derivative of this, that is going to be f of x. That's going to be h double prime of x equal to f prime of x. Now it becomes the second one that we can use later. So obviously, if I ask you h of 3, so if I ask you h of 3, that means it's from 0 to 3 of ft dt. Does that make sense? And from 0 to 3 is what? 11. Why is 11? You just count square. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So the integration, that's 11. Does that make sense? Integration means the area under the curve. And we integrate the f of x, and f of x is that graph. Does everybody understand that part? Now I'm going to go to the next part. We say, hey, h prime of 3. Well, we know due to here, what's h prime of 3 is equal to? Well, it's equal to f of 3. Does that make sense? And that's equal to 2. Because basically at 3, what's my output? F of 3 is equal to 2. How many of you guys got that part? Raise your hand. Good. But do you understand it now? How about h double prime of 3? Nope. It's negative 2. Why is it negative 2? Because h double prime of 2 is equal to f prime of 2. That means I'm looking at slope when x is equal to 2. Slope at 2, well, 3, sorry. At 3, so the slope here is equal to negative 2. Some people on first period says negative 1/2. No, it's not negative 1/2. You pass calculus, but you fail pre-algebra. Because you don't know how to count your slope. But you can make sure you know your slope, because the slope does matter here. That's equal to negative 2. So now I figure out h of 3 is equal to 11 h prime of 3 is equal to 2. H double prime of 3 is equal to -2. Does that make sense? Now B. Let's see how many you guys can figure out. B is, I want a set of value of x is not f, but they say is h decreasing. Ethan, do you know? No. McKenna knows. Okay, let's try McKenna.
Would it be from 4 to 12? That's under the graph.
Misha, what do you think?
Yeah. Under the graph.
Anna, what do you think?
No idea.
No idea. Oh, she's honest.
B.
Huh? A B. Gabby, what do you think?
I agree.
Baden?
No. The 4 and from 7.
Okay. So the answer, most of you guys agree with McKenna is correct. And the answer was from 4 to 12. And there is reason why, because the keyword is which one x is h decreasing. H of x decreasing means h prime of x is negative or less than 0. Less than 0. Also means h prime of x, according to h prime of x here, that means that inferring f prime of x is less than 0. Now, f prime of x less than 0, that means is below x-axis. Does that make sense? So whatever below axis is going to be 4 to 12. Now it's including 12 because 12 is still negative, technically. But that can be debatable with a parenthesis or bracket, but that's fine. 4 to 12 is good enough.
Why you didn't write it down?
Okay. At what value does h attain its maximum? I'm gonna ask Kalian. What do you think? You're not sure. Okay. Maybe Jenny?
I was thinking like it's that point from like 1 to 2. I mean 0 to 2.
Okay.
Let's see.
Jesus?
4.
Nisa, you agree? Liam?
In between. Not sure.
Baden? What?
From 7 to 12.
Okay. Connor? Okay, Benicia, what do you think? X equal to 4 is correct. Because a maximum basically changing from h prime of x greater than 0 to h prime of x is less than 0, right? But h prime can be replaced as a f of x from greater than 0 to f prime of x, f of x less than 0. That only happened at this particular point. So x equal to 4 is good. So you can write down this is the reason or this is the reason at x equal to 4. At x equal to 4. Does that make sense? Because it went from positive to negative. Jesus, very good.
I put
Jesus was explained to Neo, and I hear that too. Good job.
I just wrote x equals 4.
No, it's okay. I mean, let's start. Let's start. It's you got a first part right. You will get a point, but you won't get a point for justification. But you will get a point for the answer. Okay, last question, the hardest one. The minimum and minimum value. So what's the difference between questions? Minimum value means the output. That means YU. Remember we're talking about value. Is it a YU? Is the output is a Y value. But in this case, it's not a value. So because you got to be careful here. Anybody is brave enough to tell me what the answer is D is, and I will tell you if it's wrong or right.
Oh wait, I'm fucking.
Yeah.
What is H equals? H equals. Okay.
I know.
42.
12 and a half?
Do you guys know the 42 from?
Is it negative 12 and a half?
What's that book? The answer to the universe.
Oh yeah, from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah, the answer is 42.
Yeah. Yes, I thought it over quite thoroughly. 42.
42?
Like, that's not right. You didn't ask a question. I love
Wait,
that
you read a
movie.
book?
I watched the movie.
No.
I'm lame like that. I didn't know it was a book until now, actually.
All right. So, at what value does an X attain minimum? Anybody will brave enough to tell me? What?
Negative 12 and a half?
You mean minimum value or what X reach minimum?
Oh, wait. Well, 12, common negative 1.5. It's
Negative 1.5?
the value of X is 12. And then the minimum value is negative 1.5.
Okay. Let me see if somebody else have a different answer.
12 and a half.
If somebody, does anybody else have a different answer?
Right.
Eli?
Is it like no answer?
I'm gonna say no to you. There's an answer because there has to be an answer because they already asked you what is the minimum value.
There's like none. If there is none.
There's an answer. But that's a good try because. Okay. Not enough.
Not applicable. I put that in my word.
Okay, so anybody else? Caden? Shh. Caden.
Is it
No.
at x equals 7? I don't know what the value of it is.
Nope.
Okay, so
Gabby? Nope.
oh wait, no, it's not 12. It's 15 and negative 15 and a half.
You were very close. Bennett was the closest one,
For
actually.
the minimum value.
Bennett was the closest one. So the
I'm
answer.
trying.
The answer is negative 14.5. Bennett got 15.5, but there's a reason he probably miscounted rectangle.
Yeah, I probably miscounted.
So let's talk about this. If you have minimum value, that means the lowest value. So that means this means the absolute minimum, right? So when you're talking about absolute minimum, it has to consider relative and critical point and endpoints. So in order to get a point, you need to have a justification. Justification is the table. And the table is going to be x and h of x. So when x equal to 0, so from 0 to 0 is going to give you 0. Now at 12, we don't know what they are, but at 4 is actually the maximum because that's going to give you 11 and 12. That should give you 12 because that's equal to integration between 0 to 4 of ft dt. Does that make sense? Because that's 12 units. That's 11 units here. This is 12 units right here. Now, what happened at 12? Because after this point, the things start going down, start decreasing, right? And if it's decreasing, so whatever the area offset, the positive area is the one that's gonna win. So for me, I'm gonna kind of cheat. I'm gonna look in for exact same areas. So at here, I feel like this area is offset this part. Would you say? That's offset because they are exact same thing. And I'm gonna say here is also offset the other part. And this is this part. Is that okay?
So it's not 0.
So basically is whatever area here, an area here is gonna be this triangle here. I think this is -3 because that's below x-axis. And all this is a -4, -5, -6, -7, -8, -9, -10, -11, -12, -13, and then half, half. So it'd be -14.5. So minimum value is -14.5. X is equal to 12.
14.5. My original answer was 13.5. And then I got 13.5, but I didn't get 14.5.
Bennett was the closest one. Good job, Bennett. Last year I hated Bennett.
Yeah, I got an award for cross country for being bad at the beginning of the year, but getting better later, and so they give me an award for it. I have it hung up in my room
You're getting Ben?
for being better.
Oh, being better? Oh,
Yeah. Like I was like a horrible kid in the beginning of the year, and
Best in
then
class.
yeah, I got most improved.
Most
basically.
okay. The worst
He
improvement.
coached me for like 30 minutes of insulting me.
See, you were
And
smart.
and
You
then I-
lower the expectation for so
Exactly.
low, and all you gotta do is move it a little bit.
Exactly. Like, black.
So that's my standard.
I'm impressed with it, and then I do something mediocre. And
All right, does everybody understand what's going on? All right, so you're gonna try the next question. Number 2. Now your homework is everything except number 6. Number 6 is for the final boss. That's the Bowser at the end.
that's the one.
That will be the hardest one. So I will do number 6 last. I will do everything else first. Now I'm also gonna post some of those review question today, so that way you can have some review. You can know how to do integral and stuff like that. Don't forget about U substitution. Don't forget all different things. So question 2. This one's easy. By the way, zeros means just zeros. The output is zeros. There are 2 values for B, by the way. There was 2. There was 2 values. Hopefully you can get both. Don't lie, man.
I'm wrong.
My star student.
The other ones.
Yeah, Jim.
Just pretend you didn't hear him. All right, lie, man.
Oh, it's like, where's -2?
You have a favor to ask you.
Oh, I should have just locked you outside.
No, teacher won't let us back into class. It's not even a teacher. It's a pesky ass substitute. She won't let us back in her class without like a pass.
Then just don't go back to the class.
We went back, but she's gonna count as absent because we went to college and career, and then she apparently called college and career, and they said we weren't there, but we were there.
She's lying to us, so we're gonna lie back to her.
That's what he
We're gonna
thinks.
say
I don't
we're
think
gonna
he's
be
lying.
we're gonna be this hostile fighting back to it.
I don't think she's
Oh,
lying.
no, hell no. I'm not getting into this, Sebastian.
Please, I'll give you.
Look, I already got a recommendation for some other shit, so
What'd you do?
I'm not gonna get another shit going on for me.
Investigation? Violating safety requirements?
Man, fuck this. You're the best teacher in the world.
Oh, this doesn't even say. This just says you're not safe.
I'm not safe. I'm on a borderline.
Yeah, that's not like.
Borderline of what? Getting erased? Hey, you gotta.
Get absence. Nobody give a shit if you get absence.
But then we can't go to prom.
There's only one absence. You can go to prom with one absence.
But
Mr. A, can you write us a pass?
she won't get. She's a substitute. She just wants
She does
something like on
not
paper.
care. She's not gonna report you. She's a substitute.
She just wants something on paper. So
And
I
how's she gonna
cannot
know?
say
How's she
I'm
gonna know
from
who's
Mr.
from?
Pastel.
no, I know. Just say
Yeah.
it from here. It's chill.
But you gotta say you just stay coming back from CCC.
Wait, were you
What?
really a
No,
Mr.
no,
Pastel? Or
We
you
Oh
were-
my
we-
God,
we
everything
really
was telling you was true. Oh my
I don't know what. Like I don't know who she called, but we were at in college and career. I don't know what the phone call was. I don't think she's lying to us. I just think somebody's confused.
We won't. It's not for me. It's not for me.
So this
No,
does
don't-
not
don't
track
force
back
it.
to me.
What?
No, it is not.
This does not track back to me.
Yes,
And
it
it's on
does.
live stream right now, so.
Hello, everyone. I don't know. I thought you wanted me to say that. Come on.
It's 1:22 though. It's like we got 1 minute to get
All right,
back.
we have 1 minute.
I don't have pen.
Pencil's
We're about to
fine.
get- we're-
Expo marker's fine.
Wait, it's only 1 minute left?
It's 2:20 or it's 22. 1:22.
I have to go over this question.
Yo, this shit looks fake as hell.
Kevin and who?
Jared.
I have no
You
idea.
forgot your name.
122.
122.
Yeah.
And what?
It's a 7. 1/7/25. Yes.
What time is it?
To where?
Theobald.
Theobar?
Yeah. The ALD.
ALD?
Yeah.
Sir, we're not gonna make it.
Oh, we're good. That's good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, it is -4, but I know 0 counts as 0.
By the way, zeros of G is at -4 and 0.
Okay, so 0 counts as a 0. Because I was like, I was thinking in my head, I'm like, well, a two-dimensional shape has the width, but I don't know if that counts here. And it's like, oh, it's multiplied by 0. Yeah, that makes sense.
G of -2 is actually positive 3.
I'm not doing any math. Okay. Like, I could. Is the bottom one's 1? Bottom one's 1? I got all of them right. Let's go. So the 0 and the G, so it's whenever it, like, the addition of all everything, I think it's very.
Huh? What? I don't understand what you're saying.
Remember the last time?
Yeah.
Wait, I can do extra credit on it?
I'll think about it because you did show up yesterday. I'll think about it. I cannot. I'm not saying no or yes right now. I'm gonna see like how bad your score is.
Reminding something, all those questions, like I just blanked on.
even the use of there's a lot of the ones with the numbers there, but I focused on the no number integrals, which there was like 2 of, and I was like so crazy that I don't even know. But I understand now, like just take the time to buy.
That's okay.
Alright,
Me too.
Hello. How are you?
Maybe a what? What'd you say?
What happened that thing?
Don't really care.
Okay.
You get to where you want to volunteer.
Yeah.
I did not get volunteer.
Oh, we're not tired.
I got volunteer tribute.
Cool.
This one's Alita. Wait, Alita?
Oh yeah,
No brothers.
got it for me, yeah.
Like, oh, that's right.
I don't remember either. Thank you, sweating personal pride.
All right, have a seat. I have so many missing students. Why? Where's Diego? I hear that guy's voice. Oh, there it is. I knew I hear you from a mile away.
How did you introduce myself? They went up with a cousin.
All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about wait, how many people? I feel like I'm missing Isaac. He wasn't in physics. Who else I'm missing? Anybody else I'm missing? Isaac? Only Isaac? Gabby? Oh yeah, Isaac and Gabby. Okay, did everybody take a logarithm test yet? Did you miss a test? Anybody miss a test? Huh? Okay, we'll grade it tomorrow. So today we're gonna talk about I'm gonna be honest with you. I have all your grade on a clipboard. And I can't find a clipboard. So I pretty much made up everybody's grade. And I think about what your grade is, it's pretty close to pretty realistic of things. I kind of give you a little bit like that lack room. So if you like would probably run up to like 84, 80, 86, 87, I'll give you an A. So so that's pretty much I made up the second quarter grade. But even the lowest grade I give it out 70, which is a lot of you guys don't deserve a 70, but I still give you 70. Which is that way you're not failing. But doesn't mean that I will do that is because I lost the whole complete clipboard. And I have entered everybody's grade until like the 7th period, and the 7th period is not. So, but I did give you an overestimation of the grade, so it's not like underestimation of the grade. So I don't feel like I owe you anything. That's that. But a lot of you guys does do good in the class, does do deserve that grade, and at least most of you guys does do homework. So if you do all your homework, you minimum should get a C. Even though some people doesn't get there, but at least you try or you come to this. So remember, I don't fail kid until they don't do the work. If you're doing your work, you will get a C. Now some kids that I know like come in after school tutoring, let's say Jocelyn, she'll try to make it better. Kelly is also another student, always try to do like whatever she mess up, she's trying to find out what is wrong with it. So those are things that's why I consider to move that grade a little bit up higher. But if you think like there's a grade you don't deserve, I can just wait until I find my clipboard. It's probably gonna end up being lower, probably. So I think that's a preferred score, but that's me. I apologize. I don't know where the clipboard goes. I did enter everybody's grade in there, so I know like which everybody's roughly grade is where it's at. So that's how I give you an overestimation of that. So that's that. Second thing is we are going to the second half of the course. Second half, that's the pre-calc. So now we're gonna make sure we talk about all the pre-calc stuff. We already finished talking about logarithm, so now we're gonna go into talk about the things that's more important trick. Okay, we're gonna give you a crash course. And how fast that this is going to be, it's going to be a very fast trick. I can teach trick in 3 days. And when you go to calculus, I teach all the students. I says I have 3 days to make sure you have a first test. So pretty much first thing is I want to get to that stage first. I want to get to talk about those things, which is unit circle and stuff like that. But meanwhile, let's talk about things. So let me record it in case that you have